Thank you. So many things to share. Happy Hanuman Day. Happy Saturn Day. One of the things that some of us, a good 30 some of us, are doing is the dark moon to the full moon, which began March 1st. And one of the things that I offered was making a sigil. And what is a sigil? When we go dark moon to full moon, and it happens often, not just once a year, right? But it happens over and over again. We have the ability to bring a full intention of ourselves into its fullness. And then when the moon goes from full to dark, we get to let go. And so it's really just a ebb and a flow of what it is we wish to manifest, what it is we wish to let go of. And so a sigil is a representation of what it is that you wish to either manifest or let go of. And it's done by making a statement, writing a very short statement, maybe something like, I pray for healing or my best self or whatever it is, right? You make a statement and then you cross out all the vowels. And then any letters that repeat themselves in that statement, you cross out. So you only have one letter that's represented. And then you create a circle. And within that circle, you start to draw those letters. And that's where you find your creativity and you add, whatever it is that you wish. And I will probably post some of the sigils that some of the people from the group are doing. But the reason I'm bringing this up to you today is because I was just talking to Judy, and my theme today is what we do with our hands and how our hands are a direct representative of our soul. I want to read you something about that as well. And again, about Hanuman and the devotion that comes from deep within and how it comes out through our hands. But I was just talking to Judy Porter, and she was saying how she's going to take that and she's going to share that with her students. And her students, so over 400 students at Spring Equinox are going to make a sigil. And this is right, Jen. And this is something this is why we do what we do. Because we offer it to next generation, to know that whatever you place in your mind, in your heart, you can manifest fully. That there's nothing that stops you from manifesting everything you wish for. Let me read you this little beautiful and offering, which I did read this week already, but I love it so much. I'm either going to give you a recipe for cruciferous vegetables, or that's what I first looked at. Let me see if I can find it quickly. If not, let's start class and I'll look for it afterwards. Yeah. Grandma, how do you deal with pain? With your hands, dear. When do you do it with your mind? When you do it with your mind, the pain hardens even more. With your hands, Grandma? Yes, yes. Our hands are the antennas of our soul. And when you move them by sewing or cooking or painting or making sigils, touching the earth or sinking them deep into the earth, they send signals of caring to the deepest part of you, and your soul calms down. This way, she doesn't have to send pain anymore to show it. Are your hands really that important? Yes, my girl. Think of babies. They get to know the world through touch. And when you look at the hands of older people, they tell you more of their lives than any other part of their bodies. Everything that is made by hand, so it is said, is made by the heart. Because it really is like this. Hands and heart are connected. Think of lovers. When their hands touch, they love each other in the most sublime way. My hands, Grandma, how long since I've used them like that? Move them, my love. Start creating with them, and everything in you will move. The pain will not pass away, but it will be the best masterpiece, and it won't hurt as much anymore because you've managed to embroider your essence. If you haven't yet, go ahead and close your eyes. And you make these beautiful sigils, these imprints of what you wish for. You've made a masterpiece with your hands that are connected to your soul. You put it out into the world. And once we put something out into the world, it is connected. It's the same way that there's a lot of grief. If you are feeling deep sadness in these last couple of weeks, it's because there's so much grief floating in the world, so much sadness floating in the world. And even if you're having the best day of your life, even if the best things have come to you, there's a sense of sadness in you because that's what's happening in the etheric realm. There's so much. So what do we do with that? We take our energies, we take our emotions, and we transform them, and we hand them back for something that will elevate. Bring your hands together at your heart center. For Hanuman, he did that again and again and again. He transformed anything that seemed difficult or sad or confusing or absolutely impossible into possible. Inhale for the sound of Om, deep breath in. Release your hands and open your eyes. Come into child's pose, please. Make sure you stay all the way to the end of class because Josh and Allison have a very intoxicating chant to Hanuman that they'll chant for us at the end. For this moment, rest in peace. Let your body and your mind rest in peace. Find the in-breath and find the out-breath. And notice this beautiful exchange of in-breath and out-breath. Create balance. If you're always exhaling, or if you were always inhaling, how much work that would be. But there's a natural exchange here. And so that same exchange happens with your desires. You desire, and the universe comes up with the details. Come on up to your hands and knees. Let's do a little cat and cow here. Maybe eyes open, maybe eyes closed, up to you. Maybe come into some hip circles here. Maybe some neck circles here. You're circling, circle the other direction. And then once again, take it back into child's pose and just rest. Notice what it feels like to allow yourself to rest, to give yourself permission to rest. I do understand that need to always do and be. I've been giving myself a bit more permission to rest. Nervous system, connection source, all that comes when you're not confused and running. Come on up to your hands and knees. Slide your right leg behind you and your left arm in front of you, navel in, throat lifted. And then maybe reach back for your ankle, maybe stay right where you are. Remember, your rib cage is going to have a tendency to fall to the floor, so lift up that navel. Nice. Spread those toes. Relax your jaw. And notice that right hand as it presses down into the earth gives you that sense of stability. Release this and change side. Reach back for that ankle if you'd like. Spread those toes. Lift that throat. Exhale more. Releasing here, downward facing dog. Feel your hands. Create through the hands, create through the soul. I was saying the other day when I had read that when you're chanting often, your hands just start to move. You're not moving them. They just start to do this really beautiful little, floating like a feather in the wind. Because it's coming so deep from within you. Walk your feet to your hands, standing forward bend. I remember the first time, and it was years ago that it happened, but my hands started floating up as I was chanting, and I'm like, I opened my eyes, I'm like, what's happening? What are you doing? It's just that expression that's coming so deep within you. Turn your feet wide, come into squat. Squatting's not okay with you, come into chair or place a blanket underneath your heels. Settle. Arrive. Be. Let your hands float to the floor. Let your hips float to the sky, standing forward bend. Open and close your mouth. Stretch your arms forward and up. Come into chair. And place your hands on your thighs and cat-cow here. Next time you exhale, stay there, no breath, and pump the navel. So I shouldn't hear your breath. Obviously, I can if I've muted you. When you're ready, inhale, look forward. Exhale, round. When there's no breath, pump the navel. Good for kapha season. One more time, inhale, look forward. This time when you round, try to just pull your navel left and right. So you're just pulling this little Agnisara, moving that belly. Move that belly, move it, move it, move it. And then release, come up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes. Spiral inward. Receive. Letting your eyes open, inhale your arms out and up. Exhale, bow forward. Send your left leg back behind you, drop your knee, inhale your arms up to the sky, Untitled. And then interlace your hands, point your finger to the sky, reach up. Laser beam, but relax your shoulders. Take that right knee forward just a little bit more, but pull that ankle back, steady yourself. Nice, Tracy. Beautiful, Andrew. Nice, Lisa. Hands to the floor. Lift your back knee, step your back foot in just a little bit and go straight on both legs. Parsvottanasana. Blocks underneath your hands if you need it. Nice, Susan. Kathy, Sarah. Lifting that right low belly a lot. Tacking that right hip back, but almost as if you're just, that imaginary hand of mine is just sweeping that right hip back for you and then lengthening your spine just a little bit longer. And take one more long breath here, inhaling, exhaling. Step to the front of the mat, bend your knees, reach your arms forward and up chair. Rise up to stand, take a baby back bend, reach up and back. Bow as you exhale, 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 exhale. More. Inhale, look forward. Send your right leg back behind you, drop the knee. Inhale your arms up to the sky, Anjaneyasana. From the beginning of me teaching yoga, I found one of the special gifts was that whatever you received from a yoga teacher was meant to share. It wasn't just meant for you to hold on to, and you can only share it if somebody else came to that teacher's class and heard it from that teacher. Clasp your hands together, point your fingers straight up. The minute something touches your soul or touches your heart, you're meant to share it. Share with the world the idea of making sigils, intentions that become creative art tapestry. Hands on the floor, lift the back knee, step the back foot forward, go straight with both legs. Sliding that left hip crease back, lifting that left low belly a lot, and then connecting, excuse me, to your whole front foot. That deep bow. Spring equinox. Very special portals time. Just welcome in the fairies, bringing them back, the playfulness. And some deep work, and now it's time to play. Step to the front of the mat. This time your feet are about 2 fists width apart. Clasp your hands behind your back. Bend your elbows, shrug your shoulders towards your ears, and take your arms up and over any amount. Make sure your shins don't lock back here, maybe even bend your knees slightly, and then take your left hand to your outer right ankle, left hand to outer right ankle, right arm to the sky. Squeeze that shin in. Nice, Veronica, beautiful, Jen. And then touch down, switch sides. Remember to take that shoulder closer to the ear so that side body just stays so beautifully long. Nice, Sheryl, Tracy. Good, touch down, step back, plank pose. Let your right hand hold you as you stack your left leg on top, Shavasana, or drop your bottom knee. And take your left arm over your ear and let those left ribs rise to the sky as high as they'll go. Nice, Pam. And then switch sides. Drop the other hand so it's the hand is just connecting and drawing up the energy. And then take that top arm over your ear, get the rib cage to lift just a little higher. Ra's gorgeous. And touch down, lower down to your belly. Take it up into Cobra, lift your head, neck, and chest. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue. And press back downward facing dog. Nice, Nancy. Elena, beautiful. Inhaling that right leg back and up behind you. And stepping your right foot forward, open up to Virabhadrasana 2, second warrior. And notice your hands, so open and close them for just a moment. There's not this tension, so that you tend to in warrior just like want to reach, which is really dramatic and beautiful. But let your hands relax for just a moment, and then let that reach just be this really exquisite lengthening. And take that left hand down your left leg, take that right arm up and back. Send that right knee forward just a little bit more. Watch that inner knee. Don't let it fall inward. Keep it pressing outward. That's it, reaching nice. And then straighten that front leg and reach for triangle pose, Trikonasana. As wingspans open up through the chest. Remember, the navel draws in, and maybe even feel the sternum pull down as you lift up into that space of the heart. So rooting to rise. Good, bend that front knee, come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. You can place your hand way in front of your right foot just to feel like you're falling forward, but then squeeze your legs toward each other, pull your legs in toward each other, and then bring your hands together at your heart center. So you're using your hands as lightness, not just falling into your hands. Bring your hands together at your heart center, even if it means you're going to fall. And then release your hands down. Good job, downward facing dog. Falling means that you took it to the place I wanted it to go. Come forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly. Bhujangasana, the best Cobra you've ever done in your life. Downward facing dog. Beautiful, everybody. Left foot steps forward or comes back behind you. I don't remember what I said. Left foot comes forward, Virabhadrasana 2. Nice, Diane. 80. And again, feel that sense of opening and closing your hands just for a moment. So they're an expression of the soul, not just pushing out because you're told to reach your hands out. An expression, a creative expression of you. Take your right arm down your right leg, take your left arm up and back. Excuse me. Straighten that front leg and reach for triangle pose. Then notice how your hand is sitting either on the block or your ankle. So always want to make sure there's an even weight of dropping into the earth and reaching up to the sky, sky and earth energy as they connect. Notice your exhales and your inhales. Ah, beautiful. And then bring yourself into the moon pose. All the phases of yourself. When you feel full and when you feel empty and when you're in between. Bring your hands together at Anjali Mudra here, balancing. Nice, Lisa. Nice, Jane. And then release and take it back, downward facing dog. Take it through vinyasa of choice or none at all. And then drop down to your knees and take a rest in child's pose. We know the word anahata, unbeaten, unwounded. Whenever you can, this is from the Radiant Sutras, listen to waterfalls or streams or rivers and oceans and flowing waters. Listen from different distances so you can appreciate both the steady roar and the distant hum. Sometimes go so far away that you can barely hear it. Meditate in all these places so you will become attuned to the rushing and to the whisper. The word anahata suggests that you explore and find the sounds that are particularly soothing to your heart. This is a good practice in itself. And it attunes the body to flowing to the internal ones. There are many rivers inside a human body, thousands of miles of blood vessels. It is just a physical level. And on the level of the pranic body, there are so many as well. We're invited to listen to the flow within us, to go deep into our soul, go deep into our heart center and vibrate. This is where we fine tune everything. This is where the song of you lives, where the adventure exists, where the river and the whisper. Walk your upper body to the right side of your mouth. Maybe let your left hand rest on top of your right hand. I'll give you just a little deeper stretch. Come back to center and switch sides. Good. Come on up to your hands and knees, please. Send your right knee in front of your left knee, right knee in front of your left knee. Separate your feet nice and wide. Do not sit back. Let me say it like this. Sit slightly back, but don't sit all the way between your heels, and walk your hands forward. So it's like a child's pose, Gomukhasana. So you're sitting your butt slightly back, but reaching your arms forward. Pressing down through your baby toes, lifting through your belly. One of the ways to get into the hamstrings, to get into Hanumanasana, is to get into some of the deeper hip openers. And keeping that rib cage lifted. And then walk forward and switch sides. Take the other knee on top. Once again, sit your butt slightly back, not all the way back. Walk your hands forward. The blessings that Hanuman brings is the council of friends that he has. It reminds him of the supernatural powers that he has. Whatever he wants and wishes to create, and his is all in devotion of Ram and Sita. God, essence, goddess. Whatever you devote your life to, you can achieve whatever you wish for. So if you devote your life to greed, you can get it. If you devote your life to anger, you can have it. Come on up, unwind, downward facing dog. Inhaling that right leg back and up behind you, down dog split. Go ahead and open that hip up. And then slide that knee forward for pigeon. Knee comes right behind the wrist. Some of you want to flip a Rooney over onto your back, right ankle on top of the left knee. That works well for some of you. Squeeze your knees toward each other. One of the things I really like to think of here in the pigeon, when you have your knee on the floor instead of being on your back. So if you go on your back, go there, and I'll chat with you about that in a minute. But I like to lift up so that the front spine feels like I'm lengthening it, because I give so much attention to my back spine. I want my front spine to get longer. I even want to take your hands, place it on your front belly, and lift one side up and press one side down. So get as tall as you can in that front spine. And then from that place, lay yourself down. It's like you're taking the sheets on your bed and pulling them as long as you can. If you're on your back, your right ankle is on top of your left knee, you're flexing your feet. And then even here, lift your chest, soften your ribs. See, sound for Hanuman is Hum, Hum, Hanumate. Saturdays and Tuesdays are typically the days that Hanuman is the deity of choice. Hanuman happens to be the deity of choice 7 days a week for me. You are on, excuse me, are on your back. You're going to want to come back, turning over, preparing to go back into down dog split. So lift yourself up, take that right leg back and up behind you, down dog split. Bending that heel towards your butt and doing little hip circles, letting your right knee just roll in circles. So you're in down dog, and you're just making that right knee. You could look at Veronica if I'm not making sense. Make little circles there. Beautiful. Stretch that leg back and up behind you. Stepping your right foot forward. Walk to the left until you come to the center of your mat. Turn, turn, turn. Prasarita Padottanasana. And then bend one knee and then the other, go side to side. Maybe bend both knees. Then come into that stillness, both legs straight, drawing up from the earth. Clasp your hands behind your back. Take your arms up and over any mount. Exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Hanuman is known as the son of the wind god, Vayu. Drop your hands to the floor, walk back to the front of your mat, step back, plank pose, and take it through vinyasa of choice or none at all. Just made myself the most delicious chai I think I've ever had before in my life this morning. I can't decide if it's because it has a lot of oat milk and sugar in it. Inhale the left leg back and up behind you. Left knee through for pigeon. pull your front body up or lie on your back, left ankle to right knee. Draw that whole front spine as long as you can. Nice, Heidi. And then come forward onto your forehead. I learned something when I went to India with Seema, which I hope some of you, all of you, every single one of you join us on Friday night, this coming Friday night with Seema from India, from Hardwar. She will be teaching on the Gayatri Mantra. When I went the very first time, maybe not the first time, maybe the second time to India with her in her house, and every morning she makes chai, and I was watching, and when I make chai at home, and it's not the wrong way, I don't think, but I would put like 17 spices in, you know, like everything possible. And when I was with her, she said, no, no, no. And it's the same thing when I'm making medicinal teas, is I try to do 3 or less ingredients, because then you really absorb in the medicinal energy of those. It's not scattered between all these different ones. So she says, no, no, this is just cloves, black pepper, and ginger. That's it. For the ginger obviously has so many medicinal values, but the black pepper and the cloves are all blood cleaning, circulation. In other words, more is not necessarily better. Soften, melt. This is the time of the year to melt. Walking yourself back up, sending that left leg back and up behind you again. Bringing your heel to your butt and doing little circles here. Good, stepping that left foot forward, walking to the right until you come to the center of your mat. As you parallel your feet, then take time to bend one knee and then the other. Also enjoying the moments of being inverted, letting the blood flow in the opposite direction. Then come to that place of stillness, clasp your hands behind your back, take your arms up and over any amount. Relax your hands down to the floor, walk back to the front of your mat, downward facing dog. Stepping your right foot forward, take your left leg to the sky into a standing split, flying split. Noticing how square you can keep your hips. Scoop that low belly. And then switch sides, left leg down, right leg up. And then once again, lower your foot down, turn your feet wide and come into squat. Here's a moment if you'd like to take an arm balance to come into crow. think crow, strangely enough, I think crow is a great prep for Hanuman because it gets to that releasing in the groin area. Really need to have a softness in the groins and a roundness in the back. If you're not coming into that balancing crow, feel free to stay in the squat, which will also do the same magic. And then from here, downward facing dog. Stepping your right foot forward, lower your back knee, Untitled. Again, find that laser, clasp your hands together, reach up. Always different arm positions, but for today, that feels good to me. If it doesn't feel good to you, change it up. Totally cool. Good. Now place your hands down on the floor. I want you to move your right, straighten your right leg, and I want you to move it slightly to the right as if it's number 2 on a clock. And then turn the toes in. The leg is straight. Turn the toes in, both hands inside of that right foot. And then dig that heel down, draw it back. So you're just up on the heel. You're just up on the foot. Yeah, but the foot is slightly turned in. What that's doing is taking your inner thigh and pressing your right inner thigh more out, your right butt cheek more out to the right. Right? Keep that and start to slide the leg a little further out to the right. Good. Good. Now turn the toes straight up. Hang out there for a breath. Dig the heel down, draw it back. Remember, the sit bones keep going back and wide. So you want to make sure you're not over tucking your tailbone here at all. We'll draw that back in and we'll switch sides. Anjaneyasana, second side. Nice. Thanks, Ruchi. Yeah, Roz, beautiful. Nice. Yeah, Pam. So there's such a nice combination between sinking deep into the earth and reaching high into the sky. Beautiful, Tracy. And then we'll let your hands come down and we'll do the same thing, but this time the leg goes slightly out as if a number 10 on a clock. You want to turn the toes in because that helps to amplify the idea of your inner groin pressing wide, that left butt cheek going wide. You're pulling up your left low belly too. So you're making a really beautiful space between the left low belly, the groin, and then start to slide that leg a little longer, a little further forward. Once you find that edge, drag the heel down, pull it back, keep the navel drawn in. Beautiful. Nice. One more breath. I know the minute I compliment you, come out of it. Good. And then I'd like you to come into child's pose for a moment. Okay. Not a bad idea. This is number 15 in the Radiant Sutras. Bathe deeply in the ocean of sound vibrating within you. Now, as always, resonating softly and permeating the space of your heart and your soul. The ear that is tuned by rapt listening learns to hear the song of creation. First like a handbell, then subtler like a flute, even more subtle like a stringed instrument, or even and eventually like the buzz of a bee. Entering this current of sound, the listening one, forget the external world and become absorbed in the internal sound, then absorbed in vastness, like the song of the stars as they shine. All right, let's come back up. Let's take full Hanuman. So downward facing dog. If you feel like doing a vinyasa, you're welcome to do that. Then your right foot will come forward and beginning to come into your last Hanuman, last split pose. So straightening that front leg any amount once you arrive. Remember, we don't want that right hip to come in front of that left hip. So keep your hips nice and square. Play around with sending your sit bones back and wide. Play around with lifting your low belly. Maybe even bending your front knee for a moment and then re-straightening. Ever so gently releasing back into down dog. And second side, or vinyasa second side. I remember so many years ago, had one of our beautiful Indian students in class. Somebody said Hanumanasana is so hard to do, and she said it's not supposed to be easy. Devotion is not easy. Being in that sense of service for the greater good is not easy. No matter when you think you nail it, when you got it, there's always more. I remember, should I tell you a story while you're in Hanuman? Oh no, okay, I'll wait. Come on out, downward dog. I remember when I was 3. Jump to squat, please. And then come to lie on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. I was at the Hanuman temple with Seema and her sister and our group that we had brought with us. Once I went as a guest with another group, and twice I brought a group. And once I went by myself. But I was with my group and we went to the Hanuman temple, and so Seema says, let's chant the Hanuman Chalisa. And some of you know it's 40 verses in Hindi, which I've been studying for a very long time, but I still don't have it exactly down pat by memory. Maybe about the first 18 verses I do, but not all 40. And so she says, let's chant. And I was so excited because if I have somebody next to me chanting, I can kind of do it with them. If I have to do it by myself, I'll forget some of them. And so I felt so good at the end chanting the 40 verses. And Seema's sister looked at me and was like, that wasn't very good. I'm like, okay. And she said it lovingly, like, I stumbled a lot and I was just so damn proud of myself, but it's always that place. There's more. There's more. It doesn't mean, the effort always has to be there is the truth. Place your feet down onto the floor. Come on up into bridge, but it can be messy. Your effort can be messy. That's allowed. The effort is always the one that is recognized. I don't know that she actually said that wasn't any good. She said something to the effect, though, that, she didn't high five me. I don't think she said it wasn't good. And then gently release back down. I'm going to give you the opportunity to take one more back bend. I know some of you are huge camel lovers, so you're welcome to come into camel. Some of you can come into full wheel. All of that working in preparing for Hanuman definitely also prepared you for back bend. So if you want to go into a deeper back bend here or come back into bridge, that's great. And in your feeling of being complete, return back either to the floor or child's pose if you decided to do camel. And if you're not lying on your back, come back to lying on your back and hug your knees into your chest. And take it into happy baby pose. Good, releasing your left foot down to the floor, keeping the knee bent, bringing your right knee over your right shoulder or your right shoulder under your right knee. You can lift up your head to create this. And then it's the same energy of Hanuman, move the inner thigh wide. Move the inner thigh as wide as you can as you take it over your shoulder and then start to lift up your head and bring it by your ear. You still want to keep that feeling of hugging the shin in and widening the inner thigh. Good, from here, release that foot down. Nice work, everybody. And we'll change sides. I like to keep the right foot on the floor, but you can wiggle around with it for sure. And then reaching that left knee up and over that shoulder, lift your head to wiggle in a little bit more. Widen that inner knee, push the knee wide, but draw the shin in. It's very interesting. Yeah, that little architectural design we have to do there. Draw out, draw in. And gently release. Bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees drop wide. Go soft into your belly breath. So soft belly breathing means you don't draw the navel in and hold it, you release it and breathe wide. This is a perfect place to hang out. If you'd like to come up into an inversion, now's your chance. Headstand, handstand, forearm balance, shoulders stand, legs up the wall, just changing the direction. But where you are right now is absolutely beautiful as well. Wherever you find yourself, breathe deeply, please. Okay, Susan, thank you. I think you 2 more minutes here. So if you have, I don't always suggest you're going from inversion to inversion, but if there was something else you wish to do, now is your chance to change it up. If you're in a headstand, go ahead and stay. That's perfect. Or shoulder stand, or wherever you are. Nice, everybody. Nice, Roz. And then slowly begin to make your way out of whatever inversion that you've created. We'll find ourselves coming up to sit in a comfortable cross-legged position. And bring your thumb and your first finger to touch on your left hand. We'll come into alternate nostril breathing. So your right hand will close off, your thumb will close off your right nostril, inhaling through your left nostril. Let your ring finger close off your left nostril and exhale through your right. And continue like this, in through one nostril, out through the other. Keep going, 1 more minute. Next time you exhale through your left nostril, release your hand. Just sit for a minute in silent meditation. And then you can go ahead and stay here, lie down into Shavasana. so gently begin to deepen your breath. Maybe if we come up to sit, we can just do a couple of rounds with them of just Om Hum Hanumate. Maybe just 9.
Om Hanumate
Namah.
Om Hanumate Om Hanumate Om Hanumate Om Hanumate
Bringing your hands together at your heart center. The blessings of community, blessings of our hands, blessings of Hanuman. May we continue to create together and manifest together and grow together and love together. As always, there always will be war in this world. In human form, there will always be war. But we are here to manifest love. And if we come together and come alone and manifest love again and again, we have supreme purpose. We've done everything in the name of that great love. Send your hands up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Josh and Allison. And they will be back on track at the end of the month with Friends, Friday with Friends live doing kirtan. So I know over Zoom sometimes it's a little harder to hear, but live is just, they're unbelievably incredible. So I have to say so myself, but they are. All right, everybody, have a beautiful day, and we will see you all very, very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheryl.
Uh-huh.